Hey everybody, happy Monday. Hope you're good. You guys had an awesome weekend. Today we're going to be talking about the never-ending search for what I call the easy button, or what Ron calls the silver bullet, right? Or the magic pill. Right? The magic pill to success, the easy button that not every, but that a lot of sales professionals, realtors, entrepreneurs look for, right? And look, it's one thing to look for the edge, right? It's one thing to look for, incremental improvements or things that can take you to the next level, because you can be one idea away, and that's important. But at the end of the day, here's what happens when we're looking for the magic bullet or the pressing the easy button. We get warped reality where literally we start our income can start going down, our productivity can slip, and then we get off the we get on the transactional roller coaster of the ups and downs that this business can bring us. And I want to clearly state to you is that we got to stop wishing things were easier and start wishing and working on, more importantly, working on us being better. I'm going to say it again. We got to stop wishing things were easier and focus on improving our skills and our strategies to get better, period. And I got in a debate over the weekend with actually an online group that I'm in, a private group that I'm in. We're having a conversation about social selling and social media and how it plays a role. And literally, there was somebody in the group saying that outbound prospecting was dead. Literally, they were saying in the group that outbound prospecting is dead. They won't do it because it interrupts people and it doesn't work and it's not effective. and oh boy, Ron, you should have seen my face. Oh my gosh. Coming from go ahead.
What's that person smoking?
Yes, you're right. What are they smoking?
Wow.
I know. They literally were trying to say prospecting was dead. So now look, it has changed. I admit it has changed. It's not the same. There's better and more effective ways to do it. But at the end of the day, it's not dead. And we kind of got in a conversation back and forth, and I was having some dialogue with this individual, and it brought me back to actually a story that happened about 3 years ago to a new salesperson that I hired. And they came up to me and they said, look, I don't think I need to make outbound calls. I can get people to call me and people coming to me. And I said, okay, well, how long of a period do you want to do a test trial on your success versus my success when I prospect? And how long do you need? How long do you want? A couple weeks, good? See who brings in more business in a couple weeks? And so, yeah, we agreed to it. So here's the results after week one, roughly after week one. Here was the results. This person had a whole bunch of people that liked their page and 2 leads to follow up with. Okay. In that same period of time, I had conversations with probably about 50 people, and I had generated around 10 meaningful appointments and had actually sent over four really strong listings that turned into closings in 2 weeks. Or turned in opportunities that turned into listings in a 2 week period of time. So this person had 2 leads, right? I had 4 listings. Me and the agent I was sending them to had 4 listings. What do you think that person said after that? They said, well, Isaiah, this strategy takes time. It takes time. Yeah, okay. Well, guess what? You know what? The RG&E bill does not care about how long it takes you to generate a lead, right? The office bill, our goals, everything we're working towards, they don't care, right? So here's the message. It's not that social media is not important, but if we're just depending on social media or we're just depending on inbound leads to run our business, my opinion is we got to lower our goals. We got to lower our goals because it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in the time frame we want it to happen. Maybe eventually someday you can get enough action off of referrals, but you see these rainmakers, Ron, right? That they get all these referrals. They've been in the business for a long time, right? They've been nurturing their database for a long time.
Yeah, these folks have been in business for many years.
Right.
They've built multi-million-dollar years, and certainly after a while, you're definitely going to start to feed off that SOI and return business and the referral business. But it's not happening because they have magnets in their pocket and people are just being drawn to them. What's happening is that they're staying in touch with these people. But even so, they're not working at their max capability.
Right.
Because they're not prospecting for new business to continue, like we talked about the other day, filling that pipeline, keeping new stuff coming in, working off of the old stuff, get new stuff. You know, it's the same thing. If you put a bunch of stuff on your shelf and you sell half of it and figure, how's the rest of it going to get, how are you going to fill that up again? You're just going to wait until the other half sells? And now you're out of business.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a really good point.
It's just logic. It's like people don't have to work harder. They have to work smarter.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, we said this before. It's how do you get people to talk to you, to call you, to want to work with you, just to want to meet you? I mean, these are the things, and these are things that social media will help you with. But at the end of the day, you have to walk over there, put your hand out, and touch somebody physically, shake their hand.
Right.
That's
so
what you got.
If it's door knocking, if it's networking, if it's picking up the phone, it has to be a proactive outreach consistently every single day. If you want to reach superstar status, if you want to reach if you want to be the top rainmaker in your market, there's no other way around it. There's no easy button. It's not going to change, and it will never change. And so what we will promise you, we're going to show you techniques, strategies on how to get better, more efficient, on how to get more done in less time. But I'm never going to sit here and tell you bullshit and lie to you and say to you that there's some strategy out there or some technology or lead generation program that's going to get people to the point where they're just ready to list with you without any proactive outreach, without any follow-up, any nurturing, any marketing, any strategy, any prospecting methodologies that you need to use to be successful. And there's not a chance. You have to prospect. It's the number one, and like we talked about last week, the number one reason why agents fail is not because of resources. It's not because they're not intelligent. It's not because they're not smart. It's not because of the market. The number one reason why agents fail is because of their pipeline, right? It's their pipeline, and it's their ability to be able to motivate themselves, to get themselves to overcome the fear of whatever they're running into, whatever stops them from actually prospecting. Because let's be real about it. At the end of the day, if prospecting was easy, it's simple, don't get me wrong. But if it was easy, everyone would just do it every day. And I think Ron, the real estate landscape would look totally different. The failure rate would be totally different if people would just prospect every day. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Actually, that's all that would be out there. Is there wouldn't any entrepreneurs, just be agents out there. That's all. Easy. You know, the bottom line is that people have to realize, if you go, let's say you go to a seminar, and you go to the seminar, you pay to hear a gentleman or a lady speak, and they're motivating you. They got you
pumped up. Mm-hmm.
You buy everything they got because those are the magic pills that are going to work. But what you missed in that whole seminar was what you just said. It isn't good. It isn't the magic pill. This will help you get to the next level, motivate you to prospect. These are ways to do it, but there's one thing you have to do. You have to be in it to be there. To win, you've got to be in the race. And if you're expecting everything that you buy, everything that you hear to keep you in the winning circle, you're a loser before you even didn't finish.
Yeah.
You know? So it just blows my mind. And then you get tired of it because it didn't work. It's not working. It's not working. Well, it's not working because you're not using it right. It's like taking medicine
Yeah.
from your doctor
Yeah.
and not doing it the way they prescribe you to do it. And you go, this isn't working. This isn't working. Well, no kidding, it's not working. I mean, I'm not saying stuff that's out there isn't good stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out there. Yeah.
But you gotta listen to the whole message.
Yep.
You gotta pay attention. You gotta follow the directions.
Yep.
You know, if you put something together backwards, you can't use it, can you? No. You gotta take it apart and start over again. And I see this, you see it, we all see it every day. And we're not even trying to sell anybody anything.
I know.
What's the answer for a credit card?
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
this is free advice.
And people ask me, Isaiah, when you go into an organization or when you're working with somebody, B2B, B2C, real estate, whatever it may be, what's the first thing that you look at? The first thing that I look at is what's happening with the salesperson's pipeline. What's happening with the team leader's pipeline? What's happening in the organization? How well are they working, managing, and filling their pipeline? Because everything else, in my opinion, is contingent on what's happening with that. And it's a direct reflection of how many people you have in your pipeline is a direct reflection of how much time you're spending prospecting. And that's where it's so important just to be real about it. And I'm not gonna say this person's name, but I just read a book that said something along the lines of this. And if you're watching me, I don't mean to offend, but this is what the book said, Ron. It said that working hard is going out of style, and that there's better ways to work smart without having to necessarily prospect, and you still can be successful. Now, they didn't come out right out and say it, but it hovered along the lines of saying basically you can build such a strong, brand, or you can generate leads. It was a lead generation pitch, but it was not slightly misleading, extremely misleading, because it gave the impression that when the leads come in, they still didn't have to have the capability to either knock on their door, pick up the phone, or in some way convert them into an appointment. I mean, like they were going to be so ready that it took almost no skill. And I'm telling you, I want to call you out right now. Stop the bullshit. Stop the bullshit. Seriously.
Oh, God. Isaiah, I used to do that, but I lost my magic wand.
Yeah, I lost my magic wand.
I can't find
Give me a
my
break.
crystal ball broke. It broke.
Yeah.
I can no longer tell the future. That is the most asinine thing I've ever heard in 30 years.
This literally is what they're selling people.
Man,
I sat there and I watched a whole video on it. Now, here's the thing. There is some truth to that. There is, if you have an effective marketing plan and you can generate leads, there's a better way to generate leads and follow up with leads that can warm it up. So but it still requires, right? It still requires outreach. Another thing, which we're going to talk about in future episodes, right? The text message selling, right? People trying to sell the client through a text message. Now, you can use a text message to warm it up and to semi-qualify it, but it's all got to be driven back to the phone and back to picking up the phone or meeting them in person. Stop selling through text message. Stop negotiating price drops through text message.
Oh, my God. That is so impersonal. To tell somebody you'd like to reduce the price and discuss it with them and do that in a text message. What are you, a power?
This is the stuff that's starting to happen is, yes, these are tools. Marketing is everything, but sales has to be there. Sales has to be there. Marketing is great, but it's to complement your sales process, not to replace it. It's to complement it. And I'm saying this because there's so many people that are not reaching their full potential. Even if they're having some success, like you said, Ron, they're not reaching their full potential because they can't get over the ideology that you have to be prospecting first, and then using everything else as a tool to complement your prospecting. You were going to say something, Ron? We have talked to agents all over this country, nationally, top agents,
different regions, and never once has one of them, these are successful plus, 20 million plus agents. You know who I'm talking about, Isaiah.
Oh, yeah.
And never once, when talking to them or in a coaching session or whatever, have they ever denied the fact that I have to be meeting people in person because, number one, they don't know me, or number two, they've heard of me and they're worried I'm so busy I won't take care of them, so I need to show them I'm the real deal, personal, you're going to talk to me, whatever the case may be. And to say that you could do things by text message, these are people who make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Yeah. They do millions of dollars in business, and they've embraced that skill, that real estate 101. And these are young individuals who realize the importance of sales is eye to eye, person to person.
It's a very personal thing. And that's why phone is the next best thing, is because you still have a personality on the other line that you can get to know. And then your marketing and your follow-up complements you. It builds that brand awareness. It builds the trust. And the social selling complements you. But the selling part has to stop once it gets to the point of negotiation, agreements, right? Anything that gets a little touchy and hairy, we gotta make sure we're still using the fundamentals. And that's really the message. And so here's the thing. You got to develop what I call a prospecting methodology, okay? You have to sell yourself out and get to the point where you can overcome anything that's any obstacle that's in your mind that's stopping you from prospecting. That's what we want to help you do. And mind you, this is coming from years and years of experience from somebody. Literally, I've made more prospecting calls than I care to admit. I've trained thousands of people to do the same thing and be extremely successful and make a lot of money and get wealthy off of the concepts we're talking about. And I know you two have, Ron. I know you have as well, Ron. And so that's where it's about at the end of the day. At the end of the day, we got in this business maybe because we loved real estate. We got into the business because we saw it leading our family down the direction we wanted it to go, or we wanted more free time. But at the end of the day, we can't ever forget that we'll never achieve those things, those reasons why we got in the business, if we don't stick to the fundamentals. And it doesn't matter what position you are in sales, it will never, ever change. So here's the real question, which we're going to talk about tomorrow, is how do you overcome the fear of the phone fear? How do you overcome the fear of door knocking? How do you overcome the fear or put yourself in a position to win so you do this more consistently? And we're going to talk about the mindset of a rainmaker, the mindset of a top producing prospecting first real estate agent, sales professional, entrepreneur, and how to develop a culture so you don't lose prospecting as you scale a team. So with that, remember, as my friend Jim Rohn says, that I've learned so much for, don't wish it was easier. Focus on getting better. And that starts with prospecting. I hope you guys have an awesome Monday. Ron, thank you so much again
I'll talk to you soon.
for tuning in. We'll talk to everybody tomorrow.